can still do online classes, learning and reading. You can also do your schoolwork. Until next time, bye!
Don't be boxed in. Think outside the box this October with shows that'll set your imagination free on GoTV. It's your friendly neighbor here. Would you like to join us for some fun activities? Single, beautiful, and slaying it with your squad. It's the type of life every girl deserves. Some things aren't meant to be shared, like your man, when you upgrade to GoTV Plus or GoTV Max. Stay connected or upgrade to GoTV Plus or GoTV Max for mind-blowing shows. GoTV. Live it. Love it.
Welcome to MyZone Online School. My name is Mr. Litwai Dumi. Welcome, Clarice. Before we start with our lesson, let us remember to sanitize. Make sure all the parts of your hands are sanitized and keep the social distance by stretching out. Today's lesson is on square numbers and cube numbers. To start, let us go to page 15 on our booklet. That's where Mathematics Grade 7, Lesson 8 is square numbers and cube numbers. So I have to read through. The learning objective is to know the square and cube numbers and their properties. The competencies need to recognize and list square and cube numbers up to 10. When a number is multiplied by itself, we call that the product or the answer is a square number. For example, you can count the blocks with the first one there, which is a square, which is just 1, so that is the same as 1 times 1 to give you the product or the square number as 1. So 1 is a square number. The second, we have 4 blocks there, and then that is 2 squared, so it's 2 times 2 gives you 4. It goes with 3 squared, 3 times 3 gives you 9, 4 squared, 4 times 4 gives you 16, 5 squared, 5 times 5 gives you 25, 6 squared, which is 6 times 6 gives you 36. We have 7 squared, which is 7 times 7 gives you 49, 8 squared, which is 8 times 8 gives you 64, 9 times 9, 81, and 10 times 10, which is 100. Now we have to move to page 16. Page 16, there is a multiple table whereby there are numbers which are in red, colored in red, and blocks, and some which are yellow. So to read on top on the right side is a multiplication table whereby we have square numbers. Square numbers have two dimensions, namely length and breadth, which is also the width. In the multiplication table square, to the left, the square numbers, or we can say the perfect squares, are shown in red. Reading below, that is why there is a little 2 to the top right of the number. We use this when we work out the area. This will be covered later in the year, so it's another topic to do. Take note of the way the numbers are written. We have 3 squared, that gives you 9. So the base number there is 3, the exponent or the power is 2, and the square number is 9, or we can also say 9 is a product. We are done with the square numbers, so we have to go to the cube numbers to read through the cube numbers. A cube number is a product of multiplying a number by itself and then by itself again. So that number has to appear 3 times. For example, there are blocks or cubes which are drawn there. The first one is 2 times 2 times 2. That can also be written as 2 cube, or 2 to the power 3. There is 3 times 3 times 3. There is 4 times 4 times 4. 5 times 5 times 5. Moving to page 17. Reading through, cube numbers have 3 dimensions, namely the length, the breadth, which is the width, and the height. That is why there is a little 3 to the top right of the number, which that 3 is also called a cube. We use this when we work out volume. This can also be covered a little bit later. Note the way the number is written. There is an exponent, which is 3, which is also power. There is also the base, which is 5, and the product or the cube number, which is 125. If you look in the box on your top right side corner, the numbers are written with the exponent, which is 3. That means 1 cube is 1 times 1 times 1. That gives you 1. 1 is also a cube number. 2 cube gives you 2 times 2 times 2 gives you 8. 3 cube gives you 27. 4 gives you 64. 5 gives you 125. 6 cube gives you 216. 7 gives you 343. 8 gives you 512. 9 gives you 729. And 10 gives you, 10 cubes gives you 1,000. So with that, allow me to go to the chalkboard so that I can explain this in much detail. So we have learned about the square numbers, and the cube numbers, and some of the properties that we need to learn here is we can have, for example, it's a 2 squared. Whenever a number is a square number, it's having this little power here, which is a 2. And this, you can also expand it in this way. You say 2 times 2 to give you a 4. A 4. So if you look at this 2, it means this number has to appear twice. These 2 have to appear twice. That's why there's a 2 here. I can give another example. For example, we have 4 squared. 4 need to appear 2 times. So it has to be 4 times 4. And that should give you a 16. So this 2 here, it shows you that you have 4 2 times, given that we have to multiply. So it's a number multiplied by itself. That number has to appear twice. That's why we have a power 2 here. I think that's much easy. So we say a 2 on top, it's an exponent, or we say the power. The number which is there, which is a 2 or a 4, it's called the base. And the answer you get, it is called the square number, or we can also say the product. A product is an answer to multiplication. So whatever answer you get after you multiplied a number or numbers, then you get a product. But when we have a power as 2, we say that is a square number. Cube numbers. We can give also an example of a cube number as maybe we can say 2 to the power 3 or 2 cube. In that way, we are multiplying this number by itself and again by itself. So we have a 2 times 2 times 2. Look at this little number. It's an exponent or the power. So that number has to indicate that your 2, which you are multiplying, must appear 3 times. So we have 1 here, we have 2, and we have 3 times. That's why there is to the power 3 or cube, because it's 3 times. And 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. So 8 tends to be a cube number. We can also say 8 is a product because it came up by multiplying numbers. And we said an answer to multiplication, it is called a product. We can also use the number, for example, 10. 10 to the power 3. If you look at that number, we have to multiply 10 3 times. 2 times. And 10 must appear 3 times. We have 10 times 10 times 10. So remember, this is 3 times that a number has to appear. And then we say 10 times 10 gives you 100. 100 times 10 gives you 1,000. So we say 1,000 is a cube number coming from 10 cube. 10 times 10 times 10. This is an exponent, this is a base, and this is a cube number, or we can say the product. So with that, I believe this is much easier to do and clear. So we have to go back to our booklet so that we can do the activity, or I can read through the activity. Okay, the activity is on page 17 of our booklet. The first question under our activity is to identify all the square numbers in the list below. So there are numbers there: 1, 7, 11, 16, 18, 24, 25, 30, 36, 73, 79, 80, and 81. So you are required to identify or just write down all the square numbers on that list or from that list. The second question is to fill in the missing square numbers in the list below. So there's a list there, there's a space, and there's 4, there's space, there's 25, 3 spaces, and then there's 81 in the last space. You must write. We go to page 18 on our booklet with the third question, meaning to find the path of square numbers from the start to end. You may only move horizontally or vertically. You must go in order without missing out any number. Take note of the instruction which says you can only move horizontal or vertically, and the starting point is indicated with an arrow, and the ending point is also indicated with an arrow. You can do that. Number 4, we have to draw a line to match the numbers from the column on the left to those in the column on the right. So if you have the first one with 2 times 2 times 2, what will be the answer on the right hand side? The second one, if you have 63, what could be the answer? 3 times 3 times 3. We have 43, we have 5 times 5 times 5, and 13. So match the correct numbers which are corresponding. Number 5, there we have to circle all the cube numbers in the box below, or all the numbers which are listed there. Just circle the numbers which are cube numbers. So that gives, or that brings us to the end of our presentation or lesson of today. Before we leave, let us remember to sanitize and make sure all the parts of your hands are sanitized. Social distance by stretching out, and from us, it's a bye-bye.
Hi everyone, I'm back, and if you are scared of what you read on social media, talk to your parents and ask them the questions. They know everything. Until next time, bye!
On the Gold Coast of West Africa lies the peaceful and diverse nation of Ghana. I'm pretty close right now to the geographical center of the earth. It is also one of the last pockets for elephants in the wilds of West Africa.
Every country in the world just about has cattle, sheep, goats, horses, donkeys, but it's only Africa that has the real megafauna, the charismatic stuff which people in the rest of the world want to see.
The passion that the staff have for the job.
There's value to a bird which brings birders to a place like this. I mean, this is a birding paradise. We see an intrinsic appreciation and joy from seeing the wildlife out here, but not everybody does.
You can't get to Moli and then will not be passionate about what we do, because you'll be the only one left. Everybody is passionate.
The only worthwhile war, the war against destruction, the war against loss, the war for peace, for balance, for inclusion.
It is out of my way. Buffaloes, elephants, tigers, atabi are still in existence.
If Mole fails, then Ghana is without wildlife.
Join me as we journey to the untamed wilderness of northern Ghana to meet these last defenders.
The people within the law enforcement agencies don't really know you're talking about a roan antelope. Somebody thinks it's just like a goat.
I'm feeling so bad because of I have been arrested. We are trying to sell to provide our kids with food, but the police, they come to arrest us.
I was literally apprehended in Independence Avenue. I mean, there was no prior communications with the police or with Bonn or Benga Namibia. These guys literally just apprehended us on surprise.
And when you are talking in a manner that is exaggerated about brutality in this country, I should ask you in which country you live.
Yes, I can confirm that indeed there were 2 cell phones that were found after a search was conducted at the cells that the fish rot accused us staying.
Do you understand the amount of money that the government has spent on the fight against COVID-19? Could they have spent 300 million on tracing people and managing people? Is that even possible?
Akili, 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 akili. Let's chase the germs away. Let's chase the germs away by keeping our hands clean. And when you want to sneeze or when you want to cough, do it in your elbow. Let's practice sneezing into your elbow. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Achoo! Again. Achoo! Yay! You did it! Germs, germs, germs. They make us sick. Germs, germs, germs. Germs, germs, germs. Are not your friend. When you're sick, you sneeze. Achoo! When you're sick, you cough, cough, cough. And if you achoo or cough on your hands, the germs stay alive on your hands and get passed to your friends, and they'll get sick too. Let's chase the germs away. Let's chase the germs away by keeping our hands clean. And when you want to sneeze or when you want to cough, do it in your elbow. Germs, germs, germs. They
living my dream. I hope till I can see me. Yeah. Shout out to my boy, Get Rick. My own black people don't wanna see me hate. The only love they got for me is when I'm late in a cascade. I understand this one is kinda weak and I pray to God my Father in heaven. Jehovah drive me closer. So many things that I've seen, I learned many lessons. Pain is a teacher, time is a healer. Friendly speaking, I'll never stumble. They're waiting for my downfall, but I'll never lose. I'm too blessed to be a loser. We were born alone, we live alone, we die alone. I'm a hustler in paradise. I don't watch the clock, I do what it does. I make my own future, I make my own love, I make my own hope. I run the marathon, stay on the grind, I'ma shine. And I won't stop now from doing my thing. I'ma keep going, I'ma keep going, I'ma keep going. If I buy a click, you talk a lot of shit about me, but you can't afford toilet paper. Still you want beef on Facebook, but you can't afford the dry block. Yeah, I'm the best kid on the block. See me on TV, see me in the newspaper. There's nothing you can do gonna put me down. Young boy, big dreams, sweet life, my state of an icon. Things fall apart, I'll be a conqueror.
When you're saying things that degrade women, for me, number one, I am not there, because that is basically what I don't believe in. I don't stand for things that degrade women.
What do you think we can add? What can we put in the basket? First of all, let's put Blossom back in the basket.
Look at the person like it, man. Let's do a song.
Let's do something.
Just
let's
like
collaborate.
Let's collaborate.
The Africans were claiming us.
Yes, exactly. To the rest of the world, they belong to us. Namibia, Baba, Namibia.
I'll help you